Welcome to Backstage with Becca B with special guest Hailey Hyde. Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Backstage with Becca B. On this episode, this Utah native and BYU musical theater grad has performed regionally in shows like Footloose, Cats, and Frozen. Now she's making her Broadway debut in The Outsiders, understudying Cherry, Marcia, and Beverly. Please welcome Hailey Hyde.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Dandy.
I've been following you on Instagram and you've had a busy week this week at the
Yeah.
Outsiders. It feels like past like a couple weeks maybe at the Outsiders.
Yeah, which has been super fun. I
I
was,
can imagine. I can imagine. That's so exciting. And
oh,
I'm definitely gonna like talk a whole bunch of Outsiders
yeah.
later. But first of all, how are you? How is everything? How's your year and summer?
It's been great so far. Just hanging mostly. It's like literally on, was that Tuesday? Yeah. Tuesday, I was like bowing and I was like, this whole year has felt like a dream. Like sometimes I have to pinch myself and be like, wow, like you're really bowing on a Broadway stage today. Like that's really exciting. So, yeah, it's been a lot of that and, navigating what that means for, the rest of my life and, prioritizing friendships and exercise and all the things outside of outsiders that can fill my cup for sure. So,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. Because like it's a new challenge navigating an 8 show week too.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So, first of all, before I get into like all the theater stuff, I mean, this kind of like intros the theater stuff. So, have you always known performing was something you wanted to do? And like, what made you realize, like, I want to do theater?
Yeah. So, I think it's been a lot of little experiences, but from when I was really, really young, um, I would say I want to be a singer when I grow up. And I don't even think I really knew what that meant or what that entailed, but I just knew that I loved music and I loved the way it made me feel when I would sing it, and dance to it in my living room. And so from when I was really little, I just knew that this was a part of me. And then I had a couple of aunts that did Broadway tours of things. And so seeing them definitely and working with them and, um, learning from them was definitely something that skewed my mind toward musical theater. I was like, wow, this is a thing you can do like for a living. It's really
Yeah.
exciting. And so, yeah, I think seeing them, I think I grew up in a house with a lot of music. There's always music playing, and yeah, so just knowing that that was a part of my soul. Um, I think also like I would listen to the Wicked soundtrack a lot as a kid, of course, and like me and my friend would listen to the whole thing, and like I would play Elphaba for the whole thing, and she would play Glinda, and then we'd listen to it again and switch. So it was like, you
Theater
know,
kid.
yeah, theater kid vibes. Even though like I didn't really start doing or pursuing theater until like I would do little like singing and dancing things growing up when I was really little, but I didn't really start focusing on it until I would say junior high, maybe end of elementary, but junior high, which is still young. Like that's a
Yeah.
young start. But that's when I was like, oh, like I could do this. This is something that fills my cup, the live aspect, the telling of a story. So that's like a long-winded answer, but yeah.
It's an amazing answer. And I mean, I want to ask also, is there some movie, TV show, anything with music that like was your go-to as a kid to get
Yeah.
that music bill?
Yeah, I think Wicked for sure. I think we watched Sound of Music a lot growing up. I still haven't seen like a lot of the movie musicals, which I'm getting on it, I promise. But like I've never fully seen Singing in the Rain all the way through. So I'm like, I've seen a lot
Ooh.
of clips, but I still need to watch it. But we grew up with Sound of Music, Wicked. I came to the city. My brother lived here for like 10 years. And so I came and saw, I think Newsies was my first like official Broadway show in New York. that I saw and I was like, wow, like these people are crazy. They're jumping so high, they're singing down. Like it was just like so powerful. So I think that was a big moment. I saw Wicked on tour like a bunch growing up, and that was like, wow, like what is this thing? Like the first like bum 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 chords just like rang through my, I don't know how old I was, like 6. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Like, what is this feeling, pun intended?
Exactly,
Oh
exactly.
my gosh. Do you remember who the first people you saw in Wicked were?
No, I wish I did. I tried to like do the research of like where I maybe saw it and whatever, but I couldn't remember. I think we might still have one of the playbills from one of the times I saw it, but whoever they were awesome.
I mean, Wicked's so good at casting just like people who like stick in your mind forever
Yeah,
after you see the show.
exactly.
So, and also Newsies being like the first show you saw, and now you're kind of in like a Newsies like
Yeah.
show, fan base wise, especially. I feel like
Yeah,
that's
it's
so
very
cool.
funny parallel there for sure.
That's amazing. And you have an amazing list of like original credits that you've done. So you've been in like in Cats, Footloose, you've been in Frozen twice, Kinky Boots.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite regional production you've done?
Oh gosh, they're all so fun and good. I think the first one that comes to mind is Cats. Because that's just like unlike anything I've ever done. And it was so fun. I don't know if you've heard of Music Theater Wichita.
I saw on your resume. So on
Yeah.
your resume,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So, it's this program in Wichita, Kansas. It's the best. So you audition for their whole season as a college performer. And so they hire college age performers to be their ensemble for the whole summer, which is such a cool opportunity because then you get to do like I did 3 shows my first year with them, my first summer with them, and then 5 my next. So you get to be in 5 like
Like that.
radically different shows and you get to learn shows quickly and they bring in like New York talent to be the leads. So you're working with Broadway professionals, you're meeting people your age that are in college at the same time as you that also love theater and want to pursue it. So then when I moved here, I was like, oh, like I have this community of people that I know and love, just like built in, which is, I think it's so amazing and genius. And I'm so grateful for the time I had there. But yeah, so Cats was the last show we did, my second season there. And it was just like so fun. We'd spent the whole summer together. And then we're like, and now we get to be cats. Like now we get to crawl around on stage, dance our little hearts out. It was so, so fun. And just like to really dive in to that world was just like crazy and awesome. So
Did
yeah.
you do like on the tour and like on like most productions I feel like learn how to do their own makeup? Did you learn that?
Yes, yes, we did. We did learn our own makeup. Our makeup and wig supervisor, Joshua Harris, was amazing in teaching us. And Um, I laugh because the first time that we like did our like test makeup, like we were doing mostly just the details. I like really did not do well. I was like, I'm gonna look awful. I was like so stressed. I was like, this is gonna be awful. But they provided us with a lot of assistance and help, and we got better. And I loved doing the makeup by the end of it. Again, we only did it for like a week, so it wasn't enough to like, wow, I have to put on a whole face of cat today. It was like, it was still fun and, it was exciting.
Well, and now you can add like to special skills on your resume, you can do cat face paint.
Exactly, exactly.
So, I mean, I'm sure that would come in
Right.
something for the revival on Broadway.
Right? Oh my gosh, that'd be so fun.
You never know. Is there a role in Cats that you would like to do in the future?
Hmm. I played Jellylorum, which was so fun. Um, and our director, choreographer Chaz, he was like, Jellylorum doesn't usually dance as much, but we're gonna make you dance, which is so fun. And I'm so grateful because then I got to be in all these big parts of the Jellicle Ball and all the things. So that was really exciting. But I'm trying to think of there's like Mungo Jerry and Teaser are just like silly. And so I'm like, that would be so fun. I feel like I'm maybe a little tall. They're usually a little shorter in my mind, but also could be whatever. But that's, or I mean, it would be awesome to sing Memory one day, you know,
That's
like, of-
iconic.
right? Yeah. So probably those.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. And is there, like, coming back to all the regional stuff, is there a role you've done regionally in another show that you'd want to do on Broadway, maybe?
Oh, that's a good question. I like have to remember my resume.
You're like, wait,
Um,
what have I done? You have like a long list of stuff.
yeah, because
Oh,
again, that
exciting.
Music Theater Wichita is so great. Rock of Ages was so fun. Frozen was so fun doing that at two different theaters, two
I
very, very different theaters. One was in the Round in Boston, one was in Southern Utah in the desert outside. So it was like very different experiences, but both like so, so fun. And I understudied Elsa, which was really exciting, but I would love to play her one day. So
yes.
maybe that's my answer.
I mean, one of my favorite musicals ever. I just
Yeah.
love Disney, so.
It's very sweet.
Wait, did you perform in, I'm not good with like Utah geography, but
Yeah.
the outside theater, was it like that famous one?
Yukon?
Because I know there's like one with like in like the Red Rock area.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, cool.
Yeah.
That theater looks stunning.
It is. And I grew up, so I'm from Utah. So I grew up like 4 hours north of there, would come there all the time. My aunt performed there often and still sometimes performs there. And so that was definitely like a goal in like little baby Haley's heart, like going to see those shows when I was really little, being like, wow, like I want to perform at Tuacahn one day. And it happened to work out last summer, which was
That's
so,
cool.
so exciting and definitely filled a space in my heart.
And I follow dance too a lot. So I'm curious, growing up in Utah, is it easy to find like dance studios because you have a lot of dance experience?
Yeah, so I was lucky in that my aunt, her name is Mindy Robbins, she owns a company out in Utah called Utah Conservatory of Performing Arts. And so I ended up taking classes from her studio, which was so, 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 I felt so lucky to be in that studio space because it was musical theater based and they got people with amazing talents and credits that were able to teach us. And so I got a lot of amazing dance training, singing training, acting training from there. Ended up doing, they added some just dance companies. And that was really, really, that was like a turning point for me because I felt pretty awkward about dance when I was little. I like didn't really love like being in front of a mirror. I felt a little shy about it. I was, growing into my body. I'm really tall, and so I felt a little shy about being tall, which is silly. Everyone should love their height and their beauty and their bodies we love. But I had to grow into that. And so when they introduced these new dance companies, I was like, oh, I don't know about it. But I ended up having to go to their dance audition because I missed like the musical theater company dance audition. So I went to that and I got a spot on the team. There's only five of us on like the top company because it was new.
Gosh.
And I was like, okay, like I guess I'll do this. I don't like I like dance, but I still don't feel super comfortable in it. But then that year I grew so much in dance and I was like, wow, like this is another portion of our art form that I have just like grown to love. And so that was like a huge turning point for me. And so I was doing their musical theater and dance companies at the same time, which was so, so helpful for me. But yeah, dance in Utah, there's so many like ballroom teams and
Yeah.
like all these like amazing things, which I never really got to ballroom, which I'm like, oh, that would have been
But
amazing. But yeah, I do feel lucky. Utah has a lot of like amazing arts programs, which is super awesome.
and I love what you said about like growing confidence too, because I feel like people who like starting off, maybe some people have all the confidence that they need
Yeah.
to go into I mean something like dance.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people probably don't and kind of like fake it till they make it type thing and are like, I wonder if other people are like lack the confidence at first and
Yeah.
have to like grow into it.
Yeah, totally. And still now, I mean, I got this contract and I was like, I'm
Oh,
gonna be dancing next to Tilly. I was like, this is crazy. I'm like, these beautiful dancers on the stage. Like, I feel so honored. And to like, yeah, I feel really lucky to be able to dance with these like incredible dancers. I again still have to pinch myself. It's like it's a dream. So
I mean, I saw you do choreography too, right?
yeah.
So how how'd you get into that before I get into outsiders?
How did I get into like choreography?
Choreography side?
Yeah,
Because
yeah. So
art.
at I went to BYU out in Utah and uh sorry, I got sidetracked. I was on this company called Brigham Young Young Ambassadors. So we were the Young Ambassadors and we would tour, we'd go on like tours and perform and we do like medleys you could say. So we'd like do a lot of different numbers, which was so, so fun. And we would also do workshops, which was really exciting. So we got to work with like kids and teach them songs from our show and play games with them. And then we would do like service opportunities, going and meeting with people at disability centers or at old folks' homes. It was really, really special and helped instill like the passion and why I do this. But at the same time, our director was like, hey, like, I want you guys to have a lot of opportunities and trying out new things. And so he was like, I want you to choreograph a few numbers for our show. And so we would usually tag team with other people on the team and we'd choreograph numbers. And that was like a huge learning experience for me to be able to, see that that's a facet of my creativity that I could use. Because again, growing up, I didn't really even see that as a possibility. So that was really amazing for me to do. Yeah.
You're like, I'm a full-on dancer.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yes. And I mean, I love that you've worked with professionals from the New York side of the industry even before you got to Broadway, because
Yeah.
then you feel like you're like part of that community, which you are.
Yeah.
So I want to talk The Outsiders. And what was your audition process like for The Outsiders?
Yeah, totally. So this is actually a funny story. In New York, they throw confetti like on time over Times Square for New Year's. And so the day before I got the audition, I went to the confetti thing and you can write down like your dreams on the confetti. And I literally I wrote, I will play Cherry in The Outsiders. And I put it in the little bin. And then the next day, I have chills thinking about it. The next day, I get an email from my agent saying, hey, they're looking for a booth singer to understudy Cherry, Marcia, and Beverly. And I was like, this is crazy. I was like, there's no way. That is like unbelievable. So I sent in my audition. We did, I think, just one song and one side from the show, and I filmed it and I sent it in. And then I went to Disney World with like three of my friends because we had planned that weekend to go to Disney World.
There you go. Good for
And
that.
then the next day, or maybe a couple days later, I was literally watching a parade in Disney World go by, and I get an email from my agent saying, hey, can you be in New York tomorrow? They want to see you for a callback. And I was like, yup. So I finished my day of Disney World and I hop on a flight at like 5 in the morning and I get there. I come home, I like get ready, whatever. And then I go to the studio. We do the same side and song and it goes well. They're really kind. They offer me some feedback. We do it again. And then I think it was maybe the next day or that day. I forget the timing of it all, but they called me in, oh yeah, I think it was the next day for a dance call. And so then I think there was like 20 of us ish. We did part of the opening number, and it was like partial Grease choreo, partial Soch choreo, which was really fun. And then they made a cut, and then we did some partnering. So they brought in some of the guys from the show, and we did some partnering, which was so fun. And Tilly was working with us and was giving us feedback. And it was so, I again was like, oh my gosh, Tilly's in the room. She's amazing. I'm like her biggest
Oh,
fan.
good.
I love her. And that was so fun. And then they made another cut and we did fight choreo, which was so fun because they were like, yeah, when you're the ensemble female presenting ensemble, you will also dress as a guy and be in the rumble. So we have to see if you like can give that grit, which was really awesome. And so we did some fight choreo and then they were like, okay, awesome. We'll be in contact with you. And then on the train ride home, I get a text from my agent saying, okay, they want to see you for a like work through session tomorrow. And they want to see you next week for the final callback. And I was like, this is crazy. I had
That's
never been so calm throughout an experience. I just was like so grateful. It felt right. I like, yeah, I just felt really at peace, which doesn't always happen for me. And so then we do the work session. It was awesome. We do two songs, two sides. And then that next week we come back. The whole table is here, director, uh, choreographers, producers. Yeah. The whole team was there. I do the things. Again, I feel really at peace. They're so kind. They talk to me. It's really awesome. And then I get on a flight the next day and go home for Christmas, which is crazy.
Aw,
And then I heard like later that week. Um,
that is
from
so quick.
yeah, so it was a pretty quick turnaround because they knew I was replacing Maggie and she had a date
Yeah,
that she,
yeah.
so they knew they had to get someone in pretty quick. But yeah, so that was my audition experience with The Outsiders, which was really exciting and awesome and full of a lot of kindness and peace and joy, which was, I felt really lucky. Yeah.
Gosh. I mean, I feel like the people I've talked with from the show
Yeah.
always have the best things to say about the team, like behind the scenes,
Oh yeah. The
like,
best.
which kind of like makes sense when you're talking about the audition and like feeling at peace and
Yeah,
feeling comfortable in the room and not anxious.
totally. I was definitely nervous, but it felt different than like anxious, you know? It was like a nervous, excited, like, I just want to
Like,
show up and do my best. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Like, so what was your reaction when you found out best Christmas present, by the way? Like,
Exactly. I know.
one.
It was right before Christmas. It was so fun. I was with my family, which I also was like, this is amazing. But um my agent was funny and we were on the phone and he was like, "Oh, like how's it going? Like what are you doing today?" Like really like dragging it out and I was like, "Oh my
Conversation.
gosh, I'm stressed." And he was like, "Well, like they spoke very highly of you and I was like, "Oh no, like maybe I didn't get it." I was like really nervous. And then he was like, "And you got it." And I was like, I literally my jaw dropped. I immediately just started sobbing and like it was such a special moment because of course my parents are just sitting there like just like waiting with bated breath, like so excited. And it was really special to just be able to like embrace them. And yeah, it was a lot of like, wow, I've waited my whole life for this. I've worked for so long for this. I've thought about this since I was really little and it happened. And so it was just like a moment of a lot of love and joy and, feeling very grateful.
I mean, also this is a Tony Award winning show,
Yeah,
right? That
exactly.
you're
Like
coming into.
to join
So
a show that, yeah, again, and I saw the show for the first time in like June of 2024. And I knew Dan Barry, we had worked together at North Shore. And so I saw the show with him in it and I was like, wow, like this is something that I feel like I could step into today. Because I don't always feel like that. I feel like there are some shows where I'm like, oh, like I could see myself in that show, but maybe in a few years. Or I feel like I could do that. There's a lot of like if ands, buts. But this show, I was like, oh no, like this feels in my wheelhouse. I love the story. I grew up reading it. And yeah, I felt really called to it from then. And I immediately texted my agent. I was like, hey, like I know the show is going on tour, maybe. Like if they're ever looking for a cherry, I would love to be seen. So it had been on my mind since seeing it, but I also didn't feel a lot of pressure to be like, I need to be in it now. I was like, you know what, it'll happen when it happens. So um yeah, when I got the audition, I was like, yeah, like it makes sense. Like I think it feels right, which is awesome.
And I love that you said you read it. That was going to be one of my questions too,
Yeah,
because
yeah, I
I
read it.
was obsessed when I read it as a kid.
Yeah, I read it in like eighth grade in my English class, and we watched, I don't know if we watched the full movie, but we definitely watched parts of the movie while we were reading it. And yeah, I fell in love with it. I had a shirt that said like stay gold and like drippy gold letters, and like it was like gray heathered, really long for no reason. It was like I wish I still had the shirt, but I definitely gave that away. But
You're
yeah, I loved the story. Of course, I feel like everybody that sees the show can connect with the feeling of being on the outside in some way, So I think it's a really special story that we get to tell every night.
absolutely, absolutely. It's like I've seen it twice now, and I would see it like 30 times if I lived in New York. Which I'm excited for it to tour, what so I can get that chance. Um, but what was the rehearsal process like stepping into the show?
Yeah, so I was home for Christmas and then came back early January, started rehearsals January 7th. And it was at first just me and our dance captain in a studio learning the show. And also I forget her official title, but I think it's our choreographic supervisor, Nancy. She's amazing. And so she started teaching me the cherry track, which was so fun. I think I learned that in like a couple, like maybe 2 weeks. And then we started overlapping some Marcia things and then started learning Marcia, like, yeah, again, a couple weeks. And then Jenna, who's our new, I guess she's not really new anymore, but at the time she was the new swing coming in. She was also learning the show. So she started learning the Beverly track, and then we kind of were learning things together. And so that was really fun. So I think I learned the show in like a month-ish. I started booth singing January 28th. So that was my first time being backstage, but then I would still have rehearsals here and there during the day, which was really fun. I think I had my cherry put in January 24th. So that was super exciting.
So like everything happened so quick for you.
Yeah, yeah, it's a pretty quick turnaround. Beverly was we kind of learned it like throughout because
Yeah.
we kind of prioritized Jenna learning like the Ace track and the Beverly track, and then me learning the Cherry and Marcia track because then we would have full coverage. They're like,
Yeah.
let's make sure we know like at least these ones, and then we'll like learn the rest as we go, which was awesome. And yeah, so our dance captain, fight captain, choreographic supervisor, music director, we all had some rehearsals one-on-one with all of them. And Davis was also coming in at the same time as me. And so he was in a lot of my rehearsals. Matthew Varvar he was in the show already as a vacation swing, but I think he was learning maybe one more track. So we got to like do a lot of partnering together, which is so fun. Um, yeah, so it was awesome to be in those spaces.
Did you have like a process for learning multiple roles during?
Yeah, so at Music Theater Wichita, I did some like understudying, which was a great opportunity for me to, kind of figure out how my brain works and how my process works. I wish I had my like binder to show you. But I take 3 Sharpies and I make note of like all their different things that I'm being told. I just write everything down. and I write it all down in the script. And then once I have like a full track, I go and I write it in like I have a 3-ring binder that I just wrote down the whole Marcia track and like all the like tiny things like, okay, you're gonna enter in on this word and then you go to 4 on the stage and it's off the tire just a little bit to the left, like all those tiny little details just so I have them down. And so that when I go on for Marcia, I can be like, oh yeah, like what was that thing? I haven't done Marcia for a second. Like, where do I stand at this one moment? Or like, who passes me on my right at this moment? Because when you watch the show, I was like a little overwhelmed because when you watch The Outsiders, it's like this big puzzle. And you're like, wow, like how am I ever going to learn the puzzle? Like, that's a lot. But then when you break it down into these like 3 tracks, it's like, oh, this is my part of the puzzle that I can fit into and it makes sense. And yes, like it's a lot to learn, but once you kind of have it like distinctly in your mind, those like 3 tracks, it becomes like really fun and easy. But there are still days like I went on for Beverly and then Cherry and then Beverly. And so my brain has to like
That
flip. And so I have to be like, okay, I'm Cherry. I'm Cherry. I'm not going downstairs to change into a boy. I'm going upstairs, like those little things that are like, okay, these are the differences. But yeah, I don't know if that makes sense with
like
process.
kind of muscle memory-ish in a way.
Yeah, at this point, it feels muscle memory-ish. At the beginning, it definitely was like I was definitely checking my phone, being like, okay, yeah,
So
I know this. I know this. It's like it's a different way to program your mind. It's strange, but it's fun at the same time.
what was your first time stepping on like, and how do you make a role feel like you when you're stepping into a role that like someone else has played for a while?
Yeah, totally. Um, I think I mean, my Broadway debut was awesome. It was so fun. It just felt like the whole cast was there to support me and carry me through. And I was really happy that I felt comfortable in the role. It had been, so I started booth singing January 28th, and I didn't go on till February 26th. So I had been with the show for a while. I felt really confident. And dance captains, our director, Danya, they all prepared me so well and had worked with me. And so I felt really prepared going in, I felt so lucky, because some people it's like, oh, it's an emergency. Can you go on?
Yeah.
So I felt really excited and prepared and grateful. And there was just a lot of like moments where I was like, wow, like little Hailey, little tiny Hailey that was like, I want to be a singer. Like she would be so proud and she's like so happy, which just would like make me bawl. I just was off stage, like Sky singing Stay Gold, and I'm like bawling my eyes out. I'm like, this isn't real. Like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And so that was really a joy. Um, I think Victor was like, I was like warming up on the stage and he's like, how you feeling? I'm like, I'm feeling good, feeling great. I'm really excited. He's like, you're the most calm person I've ever seen like do a debut. But I think it's again because I felt so confident, like they had prepared me so well. So that was really awesome. And then stepping into a role that had already existed. Yeah, I think it's definitely interesting. I think again, working with Danya, like she is such a fan of the individual and she really wants us to, bring ourselves to the role. And I think, reading the book and seeing parts of myself in Cherry and Marcia and Beverly, I think helps, I already had a connection to the story. And so, yeah, I think it just felt natural. And it didn't feel like, oh, I needed to play this how Emma plays it or how Sir Grace or Melody. I think they gave me a lot of freedom to, explore what it felt like to be Marcia. And there's definitely specific like things they want to see and moments in the show that are important, but I can kind of do it, in my voice, in my body, and we're all individuals. So I think they're really open to that individuality, which I'm grateful for sure.
Like, what do you mean they don't want you changing up the entire like fight scene?
Probably not. Probably, for safety, especially. Yeah.
Just like I want to go on this direction tonight,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be yeah, wild.
Mm.
Uh, what is your favorite number as Marcia, and what is your favorite as Cherry?
Yeah. As I mean, the Marsha Bev doing the Rumble is so amazing. Like it never ceases to feel cool to me. Like, I don't know, the rain and the fight and it's just the grit of it all is so exciting and like so fun. I think drive-in is also like really exciting too because we're all on stage, we're like
Like party.
dance battling. It's like really fun and like flirty. And so I think that's like those are my highlights. I think when I'm an ensemble member. And then as Cherry, I love singing Hopeless War. I think it it's a song that I feel, really passionate about and I feel like it fits in my voice well, so I just like enjoy singing it. But it's also, I think Cherry's like climax moment. And so that's like it's really amazing to feel that, on stage.
Well, I was gonna say when you were like saying that you were backstage crying as I was singing Stay Gold, I was like, it's a good thing that it's an emotional show.
Yeah, exactly,
So you can
exactly.
cry anytime you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, come it every all the Cherry parts are so good too. I feel
Yeah.
like I mean the after intermission too.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
It's her solo in the number is just insane. I'm kind of like addicted.
Yeah.
Like,
So
like fast forward to that solo every time I'm listening to the song.
yeah. No, it's so nice. And it like scratches an itch. Like there's
Yes.
about it. Yeah. It's so
Yeah.
fun.
And it's like a famous TikTok sound now too. So
Yeah. We love.
like and I'm sure were there like outsiders fans who were like super hyped when you made your debut in the show? I'm sure there were because like
Yeah.
that fan base is
Yeah, they're so sweet. And it feels like really tender as an understudy to be like welcomed like that. Like, because I don't know, it feels like territorial sometimes, but like the fans have been so kind, so like accepting and loving. And it's been like really, I feel very grateful for their kindness for sure.
I mean, I just like love seeing everyone like I'm in an outsiders like fan group and I just like peek on there and I'm like just their love for the show and their passion and like how they want to know everything about the show
Yeah, it's
is
sweet.
is like super sweet. And it's also wild seeing like a new generation of people
Totally.
be fans of the story because I feel like I grew up in like a long time ago reading
Yeah.
the book and watching the movie. So
Yeah, yeah, it's very, very sweet to see. And people are connecting to the story, which I think all of us can do in some way, which is really special.
why do you speaking of that, why do you think The Outsiders resonates like so deeply with audiences?
Yeah, I think like what I was kind of saying before about we all can relate to feeling an outsider in some way. And I think we can also, we can see parallels of ourselves in a lot of the characters on the stage, which I think is really beautiful. Susie, from a young age, could recognize these characters and these people, and they're so real. Like, I think, I mean, I don't know actually all the history behind how she wrote it, but I'm pretty sure it's from like lived experience and maybe not exact lived experience. Like, I don't know if all of these things happened, but definitely it was the people that she was growing up with. And, she lived in Tulsa and these were and I think that's why it feels so real and why we're able to connect so deeply is because, it's truth. It's written truth, which I think will connect with anyone. So I think just that the characters are so real is why a lot of us connect so deeply.
Oh my gosh, I mean, absolutely. It's like you just find yourself crying when every character is like singing a ballad, especially
Yeah, yeah,
stage. You relate to all of them.
yeah.
So, what do you think audiences don't always realize about understudying on a Broadway stage or a theater stage in general?
Yeah, understudying is definitely like its own beast, you know? It's really awesome that I get to experience like these three different tracks. Like that's very unique and they're all so different, which is really fun. I think I'm trying to think of like what people wouldn't realize. I think it's interesting. Some of my shows are like a little more planned ahead of time. Like if they know Emma's going on vacation, there's a chance that I'll be going on then, you know? And so those are exciting. But then there's also days where it's like a few hours before the show, someone is feeling sick or someone during the show gets injured and then you have to go on mid-show. I haven't had to do that yet, but I've seen that happen multiple times in our show, which is crazy. But yeah, I think there's a lot of adrenaline that comes with that. Like as soon as I get a text, like you're on tonight, I'm like my adrenaline like skyrockets and I'm like, okay, how do I need to, lock into this? What do I need to remember? What do I need to go over? Because there can be like
Gotta
before these
prepare.
last 2 weeks that have been busy, like I hadn't gone on for like maybe a month or so. So it was like, okay, I remember this, I know this, but it also feels like, okay, like what is this again? At the same time, but it always comes back and it's there, and I'm watching the show every night backstage in the booth, and so, we're still a part of the show, which is good.
I mean, you all are getting the summer audiences too. So I'm sure the audiences that you've been performing for have been like extra amazing because kids are out of school on
Yeah.
vacation. I know a lot of people are probably planning trips just to see the outsiders.
Yeah,
So
it's really exciting and it's so fun to feel their energy, And I was able to be on for Sequoia's debut, which was like so beautiful and he was amazing. But feeling that audience's love, like it was so powerful. It was awesome.
I mean, I feel like you all have like such a Newsies based connection kind of
Yeah, yeah.
with the fan base of the show, which is fun to see.
Yeah, yeah, it's really special. It's been awesome.
Very fun to see. And when you're not at the theater, what's your like ideal way to unwind slash like recharge?
Yeah, I think like seeing people that I love, my friends, is always really fun. I like went to lunch with a friend just yesterday, and that's always like refuels me, makes me very happy. I think reading is always nice. I think I've been watching a lot of shows that are, coming out.
What show?
I've been watching The Bear, which is amazing,
Okay.
and Summer I Turned Pretty.
I was gonna ask about I was gonna say.
Of course, of course. The new episode last night, just watched it. It was great.
Yes.
What other shows? I feel like I just finished a show that I was loving. Oh, there's been like so many coming out
Because
this.
they're all on streaming.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
So it's
all on the
like
same time.
yeah, yeah. But that's been nice to do at night coming home from a show, especially like with my roommates. It's been fun. That's like a way for us to connect and like see each other after a long day. So that's been nice. I love New York has so much good food. So like going to eat food and yummy places with friends. So, yeah, yeah, lots of things like that.
Yeah. And when did you like were you living in New York before you got cast in the show
Yeah.
already? Okay. So
Yeah,
you
so
like
I moved in October of 2023, so almost coming up on 2 years of living here, which is still pretty new for New
yeah.
York. So yeah, it's all happened pretty quickly. But yeah, before that, I was just in Utah in school.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's I mean, I feel like there's similarities and there's also differences. Like you don't have the mountains
Yeah.
And it,
Yeah, there's definitely things that I miss, especially during summertime. It's like there's so many fun Utah summer nature things that I would do growing up that I definitely miss. But I was able to go upstate a little bit, which was super nice. And Central Park is so beautiful. So there's pros and cons to it all.
I mean, the weather is kind of similar probably in the winter, so
Yeah, similar-ish. I think Utah's like very dry and
okay.
the snow sticks more.
Yeah.
So in New York, it's very, very humid and the snow like happens, but then because there's so much like foot traffic, it like kind of dissipates quickly. So that's like kind of a difference, but they're definitely both very cold.
You're like, this is not pretty snow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you have to like walk in the snow, whereas in Utah you could drive. So that's definitely a difference.
Okay. Yeah. And
Yeah.
well, I'm from Texas, so when it snows, everything shuts down.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh no, we can't drive in this."
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, nope. Bye. Uh, what is the best piece of advice you've been given so far in this industry?
Hmm. What is a good the first thing that comes to mind, oh man. Okay, a couple things are coming to mind. I did open jar in high school. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I
Yeah, it was a super, super great program. I loved it. And Jeff Whiting said something to the effect of the part of your brain that is nervous is also the same like feeling about excitement. So if you can just say like, okay, yes, I'm nervous, but I'm also excited, and it means that I care a lot about it. I think that was really helpful for me because I think anxious thoughts can be pretty debilitating. And so if I'm just like, you know what? I'm excited. And I can channel that into excitement and feeling, grateful for the opportunity. I think that has really helped in like, especially audition settings or like going on for a track. I still get nervous, but it's also excitement. So I think that's been really helpful. I think someone in the cast, I'm forgetting who, told me there was a day where I like made a silly mistake on stage and I was like, oh, like I'm so embarrassed, like whatever. And they're like, you know what? You just have to be a goldfish. And apparently goldfish have like little to no memory. I don't know. I don't know science, but
that's
have to like, you know what? It lives in the space, but we move on and we move forward and we learn from the experience. And so you just kind of have to let it go because it happened and you can't, if you like dwell on it and like linger on it, it's only going to create more, stress and anxiousness. So if you're just like, you know what? I made a mistake and I'm going to not make it again?
I mean, and the likelihood of people realizing or caring in the audience is a
Exactly.
whole other
Exactly.
thing.
It is fear, and people love that. It makes it alive, and there's an aliveness to the show, which is really fun. And it's always bigger in your head than it is anybody else's.
Have you met people who have come to the show like more than 30 times? I'm curious.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
What's like the biggest number someone has come to the show that you've met, you think?
There was a woman that has come, she's now come over 100 times because she gave us all like a little trinket of sorts for her 100th show, which
That
was amazing. I'm like, wow, that's awesome.
the dedication.
No, it was amazing.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. So she's like probably like, okay, so I get to see like this cast today, like
Yeah, yeah,
what
exactly.
today, always taking pictures of the board.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so exciting. Like just like live theater is so exciting because it changes.
It's true. It's true. And our understudies and swings, they're awesome.
Oh
They're
my
so,
gosh. Like I love seeing shows multiple times to see understudies and swings and stannies.
yeah, it's so great.
It's the best. And before I get to my last question, I would ask, do you have dream roles that you want to play one day? I mean, you're doing one now.
Yeah, of course. This is definitely a dream role. I mean, Alphaba, that feels basic, but it's true. Like,
Not basic,
helped me fall in love with theater. That would be amazing. I think. I mean, things that I've been thinking about lately, I feel like a lot of theaters are doing Waitress, and I feel like Jenna would be so awesome. Um, I'm trying to think. I feel like there's one that I was thinking about recently, but maybe it's gone from my brain.
You're like, I'll remember it in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I'll get back to you on that. But yeah, I feel like so many amazing roles that I would be honored to play, you know?
Oh my gosh, I mean, there's so many good shows coming up and so many shows I feel like that need to be like revived soon.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like time for a revival of these of long list of shows.
Yeah, yeah.
So where can people follow you on social media to keep up with when you're on? And I mean, you've been on for Cherry a lot this week, as I said at the beginning.
Yeah.
So to like see when you're on for Cherry and when you're on
Yeah,
for
I
Cherry and Marcia.
post I post on my story on Instagram at Hailey Hyde. When I'm on, which is fun. I also have like a little singing account that's fun. Haley Rose sings that I'll post on here and there for fun. I have a TikTok. I don't use it as much, but I'm trying to because I know that's how, a lot of people are able to access our show. So, yeah, those are the main platforms that I use, which is fun.
And I feel like you kind of answered this question in the social media, like where can people follow you on social media part. But do you have anything else you'd like to promote, or do you just want to tell people to come see The Outsiders?
Come see the outsiders. I'm trying to think. There's so much art and so much good art that people are creating, support local theater, support, you know, shows. Yeah, local theater is really important and how so many people on Broadway get their start. So I think, yeah, I'd say see your local shows.
Yes. Oh my God, I love that. It's very, very, very important to go
Yeah.
support local theater. Well, thank you so much for joining. I'm so glad that we
Sure.
scheduled
Thank
this
you.
and was so happy to have you on. Thanks for watching this episode of Backstage with Becca B. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV. Or for more exclusive content from this interview and more, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Backstage with Becca B. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video. Or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and give me a 5-star rating. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.